is a nightmare. Man, that's the way it seems. Life is a nightmare.
Welcome to Today in Horrible History, your daily moment of historical misfortune. For January 21st, 2022, we travel back to January 21st, 1968, in Greenland. On that date, an American B-52 bomber crashed in the ice, lost a nuclear weapon which is still out there, and created a radiation disaster that is still unresolved. From 1960 through 1968, the United States military performed Operation Chrome Dome. Yes, that's what they called it, Operation Chrome Dome, keeping nuclear-armed bombers in the air 24/7, flying in a massive circular pattern over the Arctic to the Soviet border in case someone got a hankering to start World War III at, say, 5 a.m. on a Sunday. On January 21st, 1968, an inevitable accident occurred. A cabin fire caused by malfunctioning heating and an unwise placement of seat cushions. Seat cushions caused the 7-man crew to abandon the aircraft after the 2 handheld fire extinguishers kept on board turned out not to be sufficient for putting out a fire on a long-range nuclear bomber in flight. 6 men were equipped with ejector seats and used them, and the 7th man, who was not provided with an ejector seat, died attempting to bail out. This left the airplane without a pilot, and it crashed into winter pack ice in North Star Bay off the Greenland coast. The conventional explosives exploded, scattering the contents of the plane's 4 thermonuclear bombs like one big dirty nuke of the sort that today is feared any ragtag terrorist group is capable of making on purpose. Keep in mind, Greenland is a possession of Denmark, it is not independent, and had been essentially a colony with little input by natives on their own governance. Since 1968, it has been more integrated into Danish government with more participation now by Greenlanders. The inevitable jet fuel fire at the crash site melted the ice pack and sent much of the material to the bottom of the bay. An area 2,200 feet long and 400 feet wide was scorched by the wreckage, scattering several nuclides of highly radioactive uranium and plutonium, some with half-lives of up to 2.5 billion years. The American government began a recovery and cleanup operation, and somewhat secretively, as there was an attempt to limit information from spreading as effectively as the plutonium. This had the name Project Crested Ice, which completely sounds like a light beer. It wasn't until the BBC filed a Freedom of Information Act request in 2008 that we learned the secondary radioactive explosive from one of the bombs is still missing. Workers at 2 stages of the cleanup were exposed to considerable radiation, and compensation claims for the resulting cancers and other health problems, along with associated controversies, have persisted for decades. Local Inuit were recruited for cleanup at the site. Additionally, Danes were recruited to process recovered irradiated material off-site. This work was done in Arctic winter weather with temperatures reaching as low as negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Some people might like that kind of work, but I certainly wouldn't be into it. Fallout from the incident includes the permanent cessation of Operation Chrome Dome and a political scandal in Denmark decades later because it was revealed the Danish government knew it was harboring American nukes on Greenland in contravention of its own law. As for the bomb, much of it is still sitting there at the bottom of North Star Bay, being highly radioactive. We're told the bomb can't detonate, lacking its trigger, but it can still make interesting fish. Recent studies indicate the bomb component is leaking more uranium than plutonium, which is a victory for you uranium fans. The Soviet Union, which you might recall as the intended target, isn't a thing any longer, and that was achieved without bombing anyone. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Today in Horrible History, and remember that after a brief visit, the rest of your day can only seem better in comparison.
Life is a nightmare. Man, that's the way it seems. Life is a nightmare.